suppose we came up with the idea, or the idea was actually given to us, in summer 2014.
Edith and I were travelling back on the number 38 bus, I think it was, quite late one night, and I was telling her the story about a cat, a graveyard and a French actress.
Which itself should be the subject of a documentary. And as he was telling me the story, an old lady stood up next to him and she tapped him on the shoulder and she said, I'm going to do an accent now, "You tell me where Turner died and how he died. Then we can talk. You come to me and you tell me." And then she left the bus.
So Edith and I decided that the best way to answer the old woman's question was to make a documentary about Turner. We met in a London restaurant to talk about what form we wanted the documentary to take, but also what we expected to achieve and learn from the documentary.
My thoughts at this stage about Turner, I'm just really interested to find out who the man was. I think we all know about the paintings, we all know about where he fits in artistic canon, but I'm really interested to find out who the man was. Who was the man that was inspired to draw those pictures, to paint those paintings and to paint those watercolours as well?
What I'm most hoping to get out of the documentary is trying to find out how Turner fits into the general landscape of art, landscape perhaps being the operative word, and also just how he fits into British art, and a little bit more about the man, because I know some of the paintings but I don't really know anything about his place in London, and for me personally, I used to live in Covent Garden and he was born in Covent Garden where we are today, so I'd like to know a bit more about his connection to London, to Britain and the art scene in general. It's hard to believe that this busy drinking establishment was the birthplace in 1775 of Joseph Mallard William Turner, son of a wig maker, who went on to become one of the most prominent painters in British art. Let's take a closer look. It's hard to tell much about Turner in this busy drinking establishment. Maybe we'll have to go somewhere quieter to find out a bit more. Edith?
We don't know much about Turner's early life, but what we do know is that it would have been spent in alleys such as these in Covent Garden. By the time he was 15, he had already exhibited one painting, a view of the Archbishop's Palace, Lambeth, in 1790 at the Royal Academy Summer Festival. Let's take a closer look. Scottish himself, Turner travelled widely throughout the United Kingdom, especially Wales, and throughout the 1790s he exhibited a number of works at the Summer Academy. Let's take a closer look. As you can see, art comes in many forms.
Yes, Edith, you're right. Art does come in many forms. Behind me right now is a Banksy, strongly associated with Bristol. But Turner also has a Bristol connection. Let's take a closer look. In 1791, at age 16, Turner first came to Bristol. It's here he spent many hours sketching the local landscape and where he first became known as the King of Rocks. Many of those paintings are on display here now at the museum in Bristol. Let's take a closer look. So a fascinating glimpse there of Turner in Bristol. Now back to London. And here we are at the National Gallery in Trafalgar Square in the heart of London. The National Gallery being the pinnacle of any British artist's career. And Turner has more on display here than most. Let's take a closer look.
Turner's talent was recognised early on in his life. Financial independence means that he didn't need to rely on anybody else to paint. His later work is characterised by dramatic splashes of colour and broad brushstrokes. Let's take a closer look.
So here we are at the National Gallery itself, home to over 19,000 pieces donated by Turner himself after his death. We can't actually film inside the gallery itself, but we're going to try with some covert filming to give you a little glimpse of the works currently on display here. Let's take a closer look.
We can't take a closer look. Turner travelled extensively throughout Europe, in the early 19th century going to France, Switzerland, and then making many visits to Venice.
There are many images of the artist. Let's take a closer look at some of them. It was for Turner that the prestigious Turner Prize was named.
And the mystery is now solved.
Or is it? Have we answered the old woman on the bus's question?
You tell me where Turner died and how he died. Then we can talk. You come to me and you tell me.
So no, we haven't answered the old woman's question, but we can now. Turner died on the 19th of December 1851 in Cheyne Walk, London, at the house of his mistress Caroline Booth. His last words were said to be, "The sun is God."
And the mystery is now solved.
Banoffee pie!